I sent this, most of this email back to them. Mr. Clausen and Mr. Crane, I don't know if Mr. Williams here.
Louder, please.
We don't have a microphone, but they were talking about what the urban renewal district does for the county for the area of Bandon. And I wrote back and I said, Bandon UR has done some wonderful projects to enhance the beauty of Bandon, and so has the Port of Bandon. Great. I mean, they've really done some great things. But the county is in, and I said in capitals, serious financial difficulty conditions. A projected gap in income and expenses for 12-13, starting in July, is minus 15%, and that's about $3 million, plus or minus, actually plus. And for 13-14 is 25%, or over $5 million gap that we won't hit. So we're going to have to somehow balance the budget. We had, in 1999, we had 522 employees, and now we have 257, less than half. Our jail has a capacity of 252. We currently have enough staff to house 97. If we lose several more deputies in the jail, we'll have to cut the jail capacity to 47, which means we're going to let out 40-some prisoners currently in there, because we typically have 90 people in jail at any one time. We're going to have to let them out on the streets to prey on all you folks and everybody in the county. And so the question is, do I let out 45 inmates at some point down the road, a couple of years down the road, because we don't have any funding? And part of it is because we're taking some money away from the county for the urban renewal district. Or do I fund the ecotourism center? It's basically what it comes down to. And then Matt, you said that you didn't have any signed contract for this brewery or this dairy thing. And I'm going, I've seen a lot of these things come and go. I've been here since 1949. I've family homestead here. I've seen a lot of these things come and go where people promise lots of things but they don't come to fruition. And we talk about the pulp mill, the steel mill, the chromium smelter, the T-Dock, the crossline ferry, you name it. I can go on forever about these projects. Spent millions upon millions upon millions upon millions and put millions of dollars and never got one job out of it. So, to me, today, this Coos County financial crisis is the time to vote in favor of the Bandon Urban Renewal is against, to me, keeping prisoners in jail. And what happens?
Yeah, I've really taken this one to heart because we're all in this together, and it's really important to take a hard look at what we're doing, not just as Bandon, but as a county. And spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time anyway down in Bandon, but spent an awful lot of time down there the last 3 or 4 weeks, and had a chance to walk and ride and look at the projects that have been done down there. And the one thing I think probably everybody in the room pretty much agrees on is that as urban renewal districts go, Bandon's done a pretty spectacular job with their funding. I mean, there's no question that they made it work down there, and not just for businesses, for the entire community. And I think that's a real important part of any decision that we take a look at. As government, I know we're often told, there's things we shouldn't do, there's things we should do, but I think the one reason the three of us sit here and all of you are in the room is because we really think deep down in our hearts we can change things. And I think by having the confidence in ourselves to believe that we can change things, we're kind of believing in the future. I mean, some folks talk about, well, gosh, we don't want to stretch things out 30 years or 20 years, or it's kind of difficult to do that. But when you buy a home, when you start a business, you have confidence in the future. And I really think there's tremendous reasons to have confidence in the future in this county, and I think that's because of you folks, because of us, because nobody's thrown in the towel yet, and I don't think we should. And I think there's tremendous opportunities in bad economies to move forward. And I find it very difficult to punish an urban renewal district who's doing a phenomenal job because maybe some other urban renewal districts across the country haven't, or maybe we got some in the county that haven't done the job. I mean, one of the most important things to me, and that's in talking to everybody, from all our county folks to businesses to people in town to city officials to people who are deathly opposed to this to people who are supporting it, is that we protect our existing tax base. I think that's critical, and I think that's something that's kind of been overlooked through the years, you know, because we've got so much eye on the prize that we forget the people who are here, like the Watermans and the mom and pop businesses that do so well. And I think in many ways, a really fine performance by an urban renewal district protects that tax base. I think that's been proven over and over again, and I think that's important to us. You know, Bandon truly is one of the shining economic jewels in Coos County. I mean, Bob just detailed for you all the reasons I'd love to trade economic place with them right now, because they have thought through a lot of this long-range challenges that are presenting themselves to the cities and to counties and to communities. I'm not counting on help from the federal government. And I think that the key to our future is local, homegrown solutions. You know, if we can come up with the solutions here, we're going to have a good future for ourselves, our kids, and our grandkids. But I think we have to believe in ourselves. We have to be willing to invest in ourselves. I don't have any problem with citizens of the county being able to vote on urban renewal, but I am not going to penalize a district who's done the job, who's walked the talk. I mean, they've really gone out there and done things. If you walk around Bandon, you see why businesses want to locate there, why people want to move there, why people want to be an active part of this community and make good things happen. And, you know, that's where I am on this. I see a future. I've got a dear friend who's invested his entire life in increasing his dairy and his herd and improving that herd. And he's spending a lot of money out there, and I know there's a lot of other dairy ranchers out there too that are doing that. I hear a lot. People say, well, gee, we don't want those tourism jobs because they don't pay enough money. Well, they're a start. I remember as a kid, you know, I started out picking raspberries for, you know, I was lucky to make $3 a day, but it was a start, you know, it was a start. And we've got to have those start jobs, that infrastructure that begins the base. We've got to rebuild our base and diversify, and I think that's what we're talking about here. And it's not gonna hurt us to do this. I think the bottom line for me is, do I believe in the future of Coos County? Absolutely, or I wouldn't be sitting here. And I think Bandon's a big part of that future, and I think if they can be successful, then we're successful.
My perspective on this, and I guess the way I break it down is that frankly, somebody from the outside is going to fix our own problems. And what we do is within Coos County is going to be to solve our own problems and help ourselves. I have a real problem. I don't believe this is a county issue. I think it's a Bandon issue. They have all the tools there with their urban renewal board to be able to deal with this, and they've historically done a very good job. I have trouble sitting here saying that Coos County doesn't want federal government or the state government telling us what to do, and then we turn around in the same breath and say, well, we're going to tell Bandon what to do. I'm having a little trouble squaring that one. Frankly, my position on this is that we shouldn't stand in the way of the citizens of Bandon doing what they want to do.